distinct pleasure and a privilege to welcome you to the 45th annual dinner in the Sukkot of Dvar Yerushalayim on this magnificent night. We have so much to be thankful for, and amongst the great things that we really have to contemplate that is unique in our generation is the miracle of Techiyat HaMetim spiritually, returning. So at this juncture I would like to invite a very special inspiration to the generation, Rav Horowitz, Shlita, the Rosh Yeshiva, to come forward and share some of the excitement of 45 years of saving this nation and returning them spiritually to Avinu Shebashamayim. Thank you. What a Rosh Yeshiva.
Baruchim habayim b'shem Hashem. We welcome all our guests on this special time for celebration of Sukkot. We live in the most dramatic time ever for Am Yisrael. We don't live in the age of prophecy. That was in the past, and will Mitz Hashem be in the future. But we do live in the time of the fulfillment of prophecy. The bracha and the klola. From the literal fulfillment, unfortunately, of so many of the klolas, from there Rabbi Akiva took also courage to say, well, all the brachas will also be fulfilled literally. We live now in the time of Melchemet Gog uMagog. When we said in Hallel, Kol Goyim Suvuni b'Shem Hashem ki Amilam, Sabuni Gam Suvuni b'Shem Hashem ki Amilam, Sabuni Chidvoirem b'Shem Hashem ki Amilam. The Chazal say these are the three wars which have to do with the way in which our enemies attack us when we come back to Eretz Yisrael, which refer to three stages. According to the comment of the Vilna Gaon, there's Sabuni and Savavuni. Sabuni, those who surround us in one circle. Savuni in a wider circle. B'Shem Hashem ki Amilam. With the name of Hashem, we all sang, we cut them off. The third one, which is very surprising, says, Sabuni Kidavoidem. What do you mean? Because they attack us like bees? But they're not dangerous. They sting you a bit. And also you can get a bit of smoke and they'll fly away. What does it mean? Sabuni Kidavoidem. They say it refers to three stages of Melchemet Gog uMagog. The first stage is the nations nearby. The second stage is the big powers that support them from the distance. We are in fact in this situation today, these two aspects. And the third aspect, which is the most severe, is like bees. But when bees sting, they die. This is the suicide bombers, which is the most serious threat not only to us, but to the whole world. So we're faced with these three things. But b'Shem Hashem ki Amilam. With the name of Hashem, we can cut them off. What does it mean b'Shem Hashem? The first Inyan is b'Shem Hashem. We have to know Hashem Bitochen Hashem and Kesher with HaKadosh Baruch Hu through Tefillah, to recognize that He is the master of all things, Adon Chol HaMasim, and everything that happens. So if we take the name of Hashem, we know whatever He causes to come to us as individuals, as a nation, comes all the time, even though we can't understand it, even though it's hesed upon Him. But we know, B'Shem Hashem, through Tefillah and B'Tochen Hashem. The second aspect of B'Shem Hashem is Kol HaTorah Kula Shem Moisav Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The way in which Hashem reveals Himself is through Torah, through Limud Torah. So as I'll say, that Torah, Matzlo, Magno Matzlo, it protects and saves. As Chaskel Sana, the Tzal, the Rosh Yeshivas, he said in the time of War of Independence, there were two organizations which some people thought, oh, we should join them in order to protect ourselves. One was Eitzel and the other was Haganah. That's in the period just before the state, in time of Mechemes, beginning of the first Milchama. So he said, Torah Matzlo Magno. Torah is like Eitzel, Matzlo, it saves us, and Haganah, it protects us. That's the second Shem Hashem, Shem Moisav Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the third Shem Hashem, because Hashem Dafka, Meres HaChesed. We will do Chesed. These three are the ways whereby we can be protected in the time of Mechemes Gog uMagog. So it's written more or less befeirush in Yechezkel, and Chazal say it mamish befeirush. Ma yase odam bizman Mechemes Gog uMagog, and Gog was Shivim nations, Shivim. What can a person do to be saved? As I'll say, Yasef b'Torah v'Chesed. But they say something more. They also say that the Sukkah is the best protection in the time of Chemes Gog uMagog. And to understand this a bit deeper, we see it also in Haftorahs, in Yechezkel, is the analysis, what's the significance of Gog? Magog was a nation, we know, one of the Yefet was also Magog. But Gog, what's Gog mean? So this is the deeper interpretation Rav hears. Gog is Milashon Gag. Gog means the roof. Well, he says, the contrast of Gog is the schach. The schach is not proper roof. Anything thrown down can break the schach easily. So how can be protection in times of Meretz Gog uMagog with the bombs they have? So the answer is, it says, Kashem shechal shem shamayim ala chagigo, chal shem shamayim ala sukkah. In other words, the sukkah represents Shem Shamayim, the Shem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's got this Kedusha even, certain aspect of Kedusha, Muktzah. So it's written Chag HaSukkah is Ta'aseh Hashem. Chazal say that represents the Koyach HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Chag. Which way? One way is because the Gematria of Shem Adnus and Shem Havai together is the same Gematria as Sukkah. But the deeper aspect is, this is what we're spoken about. The essence of Sukkot is the Shem Hashem. We should know in a time of Chemes Gog uMagog, the Sukkah is the best protection. Because the Sukkah teaches us to be aware, it mustn't be Mekabel Tumah, It's Gidule Karka, that means it's something which comes from the pure Bri of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, without having been contaminated by any human ideas, because that's the essence of Kabbalah's Tumah. If a person sets it aside for any sort of use of the human being, it's already got potential of Tumah. So this is the most important lesson for us today. And that's how we can understand the significance of the name God. That we should know whatever type of protection we're looking for. If you go underground, in order to be protected, or the different cement strong rooms and miklatim that we seek to protect ourselves, we've got to go derech hateva. But the truth is, the ultimate protection comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So let us hope that this message of the Sukkah, it also explains why the Sukkah is called Sukkah Shalom. The only way to bring Shalom, as long as human beings, they just rely upon human power and they fight with their own individual ego, in family, or in small communities, or communities fight with one another. It's all because people, they put their trust in human effort. Instead of putting their trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If we would all work together to recognize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one who through his Torah and through doing chesed, we make up a link with him, that will create shalom at every level. Shalom fast in the family, shalom as Am Yisrael, shalom by connection with the threefold meaning of B'Shem Hashem. So this is what can protect us and bring peace, as it says over the Nevi'im, that the Sukkah is all the simon of what will increase. And this year, we're in a special year. The year where, if the Mashiach would be here, we would be having Hakel and Sukkot. Because Sukkot represents HaKohol. And after the Shemitah, even more so, because the Shemitah teaches us that even with regard to working the land, that means agricultural aspects of life, and also economic aspects of life. All these are teachings to make us into one kohol, by recognizing the Eretz Yisrael belongs to Hashem. All the money and the companies we have, really, it's all, everything, Hashem or it all belongs to Him. We've got to use it for Savoidon. So this is a time when we all bring together all the different parts of Am Yisrael. It says, Kol Ezrach b'Yisrael yeshvu b'Sukkos. That every individual citizen in Am Yisrael, Kol Ezrach, they should all sit in Sukkos. The Chazal say, Ruin Kol Yisrael, Asher Sukkah Achas. From point of potential, all Am Yisrael can sit in one Sukkah, which we explained with their Grash, real one people. And if we will work very hard in our Avodas Hashem, in three aspects of what we describe as Shem Hashem, especially the aspect of Chesed, Habotea Hashem, Chesed is Venu. Chesed will surround our lives. This will bring Achdus to Am Yisrael, and Mirz Hashem, this will bring us protection also from all, even the Rishoyim, Shanachnu Mispalim Midaven, Shenafnuis Eilecho Kol Rishe Oretz. Even all the wicked ones of Am Yisrael will all recognize the Malchus Shemayim. And Mirz Hashem, Moitze Shmita, it's a special time of Sugal, also Bias HaMashiach. Let us hope we'll all see Bias Mashiach Tzedkeinu B'Korov. Amen.
Amen.
And now I'd like to say also that we want to express our gratitude. Say, my wife and myself, we express our gratitude to all our partners in the work of the yeshiva, all the Ramim, and all the members of the staff, and all the members of our committee. We want to invite them, we want to express our great appreciation to everyone who's here, also to all our guests and those who are not here. And let us hope in the Zchus of all the support we have, both from all those who teach in the yeshiva and all those who give support to the yeshiva, we will do our part in bringing Am Yisrael to the madrega of fulfilling the Shem Hashem, and of the Shem Echad. We follow the view, we try to put into practice, that we're all one whether Shalom L'Korah L'Chorek, both those, Baruch Hashem, who've learned Torah, and those who haven't learned Torah, yet both those who are dying Lo Datiyim, but I say every Jew in his heart is a jewel, and potentially, as we see all the time, that even though they come from a background where they have no Yiddishkeit, some of them a few generations, but inside they've got the Shem Hashem, and we just have to find the right path for each person to bring near to Torah. Yitz Hashem, you hope we do our part. Today we live in a time, as I heard, a very good mnemonic. Straight after Yom Kippur we say Slach Lono. Why straight after we say Slach Lono? Because unfortunately, we all want to serve Hashem, but there's certain divisions. Sephardim, Litaim, and Chasidim, that's Salach. So we try to see that these three groups in our yeshiva, we mix them together, we try to bring this spirit of unity, and there's hope. I think my own feeling is, after having gone through the enormous Knesset Gedolah that took place over 90 years ago with the Chofetz Chaim, where many of us had like a proper frontal picture of the Chofetz Chaim, even in the way in which his body language would express so many deep things. But, Yes, very good. Yes, it's going to be played. But I went through the most detailed description of the drashas, all in German, many from Gothic script, Gothic printing. So I went through them, and it's amazing. The whole message of the Chofetz Chaim was Achdus and Kirov. Yeah. So when someone came up to him and said, "What you're telling us, all we've got to work in Kirov." What do you mean? First we've got to be a perfect on a high level before we can start doing Kirov and know a lot ourselves. The Chofetz Chaim said, gave him a sholim on it as well, but just to give a brief moshel that he gave, he says you can say that in a time where there's not a fire. Then you can say, right, but today there's a fire, and in his time, a fire in Am Yisrael of assimilation, of intermarriage, and people going away from Torah. The time of a fire, whatever you've got available, a bit of water, even you've got a bit of water is not so pure. Whatever water you've got, everyone's got to do his part to go and quench the fire. There's a fire burning up Am Yisrael. So we all need to do work to save others at the same time when we're learning ourselves. And really, he said, to do this, you've got to have Achdus. That's why he supported. The people who invited at Knesset Gedolah were from all corners of Klal Yisrael. All types of groups were given permission to speak. Certainly Sfadim, Ashkenazim, Hasidim, and businessmen, people who represent Turim, Derech Eretz, bankers, they all participated. He said, yeah, we all want to work together. We'll be directed by Mesilas Gedolah Torah, who represent all these groups. And that is the message of the Chofetz Chaim, not just for his generation, but for us today. And we're going to try and do our part, and we're going to have now on the video, you'll see a bit of this.
הרב ישעיהו. מוטי בוא.
האחד והיחיד.
אתה יודע שאנחנו נושר לפני 5,000. מוטי.
מה אתה צריך?
You want to sit here? You want
It's interesting that we're familiar with several descriptions of relationships between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Am Yisrael. We say, Bonim atam l'Hashem Elokeichem. We're children to a father. Avodayhem. We're servants to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When we put on tefillin, we say, Ve'arastech li li'olam. Relationship of a husband and wife. There's one relationship that is not described adequately, and that is the relationship of a shutef, of being a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That Hashem and Am Yisrael, in addition to everything else, they're partners. I think there's some importance in this because we're familiar with the phrase Al Tibichas Heded Kala Beinecha. Not only brachas from great tzaddikim, but even from a simple person. And what brought me to focus on this is a story I came across from one of my ancestors from the Abdarov, that he heard that in a particular village there was a person who gives brachas and all of his brachas are mekuyim. He thought this must be some type of tzaddik nisna. So he went to meet him. And as he came to know him, he realized this is not a Talmud Chacham. I mean, I eat the Shem mitzvahs, but I'm a very simple person, and he's not a tzaddik nisna. So he asked him, tell me, what is the koiches of your brachas that they're all mekuyim? He says, Rebbe, let me tell you very simply. I run a store, and I was not making good parnosa. So my wife told me, go get a partner. So I looked around for a partner, but I couldn't find anybody that I could trust. So finally I said, Rabbi Shalom, you know what? You be my partner. And I'll give you half of the profits of the business. So that's what I do. Every time I make a sale, part of the profit goes into the cash drawer, and the rest goes into a tzedakah bushka. Right? So I made a partnership with Hashem. Now, if a son makes a commitment, the father doesn't necessarily have to live up to it. And if a servant makes a commitment, the master doesn't have to live up to it. And then if a spouse makes a commitment, the other spouse doesn't have to live up to it. Right? But if a partner makes a commitment, the other partner has to live up to it. If he orders a shipment of stuff, the other partner has to do it. So he says, since I made a partnership with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right, when I give a bracha, right, my partner has to fulfill it. Right? So that's the enormous value of partnership. And now I understood why the Gemara says, "Al tehi birchas hedit kala beinecha." How are we to know who's a partner? Here was a person who was not mefusam, not as a guru, not as a tzaddik, right? And yet his brachas were mikuyim, right? Because he was a partner. So looking at that, I began thinking about what can we do to make partnerships with HaKadosh Baruch Hu? And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is totally complete, it doesn't need anything. What do you mean make a partner with him? Why does he need our help? But the fact is, we see several places where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is asking for our participation. And this, several times the Gemara says, Nasa l'shutafim HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'masa b'reshis. Kalaima v'achulu. It is Mekadosh Shabbos. Nasa shutaf l'HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'masa b'reshis. You can become a shutaf with Shmiras Shabbos. The only thing is, it has to be the kind of Shmiras Shabbos that's going to make you a shutaf. The Shmiras Shabbos that makes a shutaf is not only avoiding the Lamates Malachas, right? But Rashi says, "V'osicha kol malachtecha." And it says, "V'osicha kol malachtecha." So it says, "Kol malachtecha" means she kol malachtecha asuya. It comes Friday night when you say Vaychulu, you have nothing to think about anymore. You don't have any orders to fulfill. You don't owe anybody any money. Nobody owes you any money that you have to collect. You're not going to be traveling anywhere. Nothing. Everything is complete. That kind of Shabbos can make a person a partner. They tell the story that Reb Shlomshe, the Zvila Rebbe, somebody came to him with a problem of a chayla mesukn, and Reb Shlomshe said, "Come to me Friday night." Right? Because Friday night when I say I become a partner with Hashem, I'll be able to have some influence. Right now I can't do anything. So Shabbos is certainly one way of becoming a partner. The other time the Gemara says it is Kol Adan Don Nemes Lamitoy, Kol Adan Don Nemes Lamitoy, Nasav LaKodesh Baruch Hu b'masa b'reshis. So if we're Nizav and Emes, especially a Dayan din Emes, right? So we become a shutaf to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But there's many other ways of being a shutaf. B'masa b'reshis, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Nasa Odom. What do you mean Nasa Odom? Old churches made HaKadosh Baruch Hu made everything without anybody's help. And we know the Perish of Rasha that he relates about the Malachim. But the Baal Shem Tov HaKodesh said another pshat, an additional pshat. Baal Shem Tov said, everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created, he created in a state of completion. All creatures are created complete at the time of their birth. They just have to grow. But they don't have to alter themselves. They don't have to change themselves and become something different than what they were created. So a little alligator is supposed to become a big alligator. Right? And the little bear is supposed to become a bigger bear. All they do is grow. Right? But they're created complete. Then because of Ritzonai HaPoshut, why Kodesh Baruch Hu wanted a different kind of Bria. Right? A Bria that is not going to be completed complete, and one that HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself is not going to complete. Because the HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, look, if I make a person, an Odom, into an Odom Sholem, he's not an Odom, he's a Malach. Right? And I've got enough Malachim. Right? In the thousands and the tens of thousands and the millions. I don't want any more Malachim. I want a new creature. I want a new creature that I'm going to create as a goof, essentially as a physical creature. But that creature is supposed to make himself into an Odom. I'm not going to do it for him. If I do it for him, he becomes a Malach, and that's not what I want. So Kodesh Baruch Hu created the goof of Odom, and he said to him, Nase Odom. You and I together will make an Odom. I've given you the goof, and I've given you the neshama. Now use it and convert yourself into something different than what you were born. You were born essentially a chaya. You were born essentially an animal. And that's not what I want, but I don't want you to be a malach either. I want you to be an Odom. Na'asa Odom, you and I together will make an Odom. So we don't say that Chas v'Shalom anything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot do. But Kivyochel HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, Na'asa Odom, I want your participation. When Cain was born, Chava said, Konisi ish es Hashem. I'm a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in creating a human being. So we have another type of partnership. Now HaKadosh Baruch Hu created a world that he wanted the world to sustain, to be there for whatever, 6,000 years or whatever period he wants it. But the Chaim HaKadosh says, Ki sheishes yomim oso Hashem, it's Hashemayim v'zoros. So Chaim HaKadosh says it doesn't say bisheishes yomim, it doesn't say that in 6 days, but that Hashem created the world to last 6 days. And the only reason the world is lasting any longer is because the 7th day of Shabbos gives another koyach for another 6 days. And so the Chaim HaKadosh says, Lu Yitzur, that there would not be one Jew in the world who would keep Shabbos, the world would immediately go out of existence and go back to Toyo Vavoyo. But the Kodesh Baruch Hu wanted the world to continue to exist. So he's depending on our Shmiras Shabbos, right, to keep his world going. So we're partner with Hashem, and that's why it said, Hashem Bora Elikim Lasos. Hashem created the 6 days, but last says that we're supposed to do it and continue it. And the same thing is true of all the places where the Gemara says, Yeshivat Dvar Yerushalayim, that there's Torah and Avodah and Gemilas Chasodim. Without that, the world would not continue. Without our Torah, without our Avodah, without our Gemilas Chasodim. And so we're partners with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants a world, but we must sustain the world. Otherwise it goes out of existence. That's not what he wanted. So b'meila, we become partners. When we become partners, then all the brachos that we give, will can be mekuyah. As far as kiruv is concerned, the pasuk says in Yirmiyah, "Im toitzi yoko mezoro, kifi yiyeh." So Rashi says that if you will take a person who is a zolel, who is very coarse, and make him refined, and make a mensch out of him, and be mekar of him, kifi yiyeh shani goes mevatel. Hashem is giving us the power to be mevatel gzeiros. And it's not only the greatest tzaddikim that had that faith. Every person has a kind of mivatul gzeros. If you do kiruv, you can be mivatul gzeros. So take a look at the enormous powers that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us. The only thing is that we have to learn how to do it. And to learn how to do it does not only mean to learn the halachas of Shulchan Aruch. It also means midas. Right? Because midas is what the nasa also is about. And not without midas is a behemoth, it's a chayah. And we cannot underestimate the importance of midas. Rabbi Chaim Vital in Shara Kedusha makes this an enormous statement. Rabbi Chaim Vital asks, why doesn't the Torah talk more about midas? So he says, because in order to have Torah, you first have to have midas. Without midas, you can't have Torah. Therefore, Rabbi Chaim Vital makes this enormous statement. Yoiser tzorech lizar b'midas mi b'mitzvahs esa b'mitzvahs lo esa. Tremendous statement. I mean, people who are Hashem with Torah mitzvahs are nizar and a mashu of an isa. Whether it's machalas asus, chasashim chilul shabbos, chametz b'pesach, whatever. Right? And when Chaim Vital says that's wonderful, he says, but that's not enough. Right? Without midas, Torah isn't worth much. And he says, Moshe Rabbeinu says that. Mo Hashem alekecha she'el yimcha. What is it that Rabbi Shalom wants? Right? Kim liyiras Hashem, yiras shemayim, l'lechas b'drochav, the midas. V'la'avos Hashem alekecha, v'la'avos Hashem. And then in the next posuk he talks about mitzvahs. Ulishma kol mitzvah. Because mitzvahs without yiras Hashem and avos Hashem doesn't accomplish it. And so we have to be careful that it says in Pirkei Avos kol she chachmosoi gidolim yevosoi zein chachmosoi is kayemes. And if there's anything that's missing in the world, it's midas. Because people without midas are mamash chayes. But sometimes I think we have a little bit of a distorted thing in this. If Rabbi Chaim Vital says this, of course, is true. Yosa tzorech lira. Sure, we're nizar in amar shel chometz. And we're nizar in adrabonon and the muktzah and everything else. Are we as nizar in kas? I've heard it say about a person, wonderful Talmud Chacham. He's a tzaddik. He's just got a very bad temper. I said, what kind of talk is that? How can a person be a tzaddik and have a very bad temper? If it says kol hakoyes kol asher kel b'chamoso yizorah, how can a person who be a tzaddik? But somehow or other, some people have made peace with that. Right? That a person can be ashamed of mitzvahs and then be neglectful and derelict in midas. And we just put the cart before the horse. Midas comes first. Yiras Shamayim comes first. So the power we can get by becoming partners with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I personally believe that many of the tzaddikim who gave blochas, and the blochas were mekuyim, were because they were partners with Hashem. They made a commitment, and Hashem had to live up to it. It may well be the Ruach HaKodesh also had something to do with it. Listen to the language. Kadosh Baruch Hu says, "Hamachasa ani me'Avraham asher ani Yosef." Avraham, ki dati v'asher yitzah ve'bonav v'espeis v'achav l'shem Hashem l'asot tzedakah mishpat. Hear what he's saying? How can I do something and not tell my partner about it? If I've got a partnership, I have a responsibility to tell my partner. And Avraham Avinu was a partner with Hashem. And it wasn't only in the Ovis and in the greatest of the great tzaddikim. there's a story that's just 200 years ago. Right? The Yeshivat Rav was the tremendous pachtan. He was very fearful. And he was a mechutin with the Dvar Chaim sons. And when he heard that the scientists were saying, the astronomers were saying, that the Earth is going to go through the tail of a comet and it's going to destroy the world. So he became very frightened. And so he wrote to the Dvar Chaim. He told them how frightened he was that the world is going to come to an end. So the Dvar Chaim answered him, not to be afraid. He said, Ki lo yasa glikim dova im lo gila dova l'avot v'anavim. Hashem is not going to do anything so enormous without telling the Nevi'im, his prophets, about it, and I haven't heard anything about it. So on the one hand, the Dvar Chaim used to talk about himself that he's the shofar of the Shvelim, the worst of all. Right? And on the other hand, right, he knew that he was a Novi, he knew that he was a HaKodesh. I came across a story of some Sefer that he may be familiar with. One Erev Yom Kippur, the Sam Sefer sent to Shamas to bring a particular Bocher. The Bocher came in, the Sam Sefer told him, I have a shidduch for you. So the Bocher said, but Rebbe, I have no means of support at all. How can I have no mishpocha? How can I undertake the responsibility of marriage? So he says, I'll be maftiach, you'll have panos. Good, Rebbe's maftiach. So he sent the shamas to bring the girl and her mother, and he says, I have a shidduch for your daughter. He says, Rebbe, I'm a poor almana, I can't afford to marry off children. He said, don't worry about it, they'll have panos. So he made the shidduch and then mazel tov. You know how all of this, and then some sefer said, oh Hashem, now I have something with which to go to Yom Kippur. I don't know how many people are afraid they don't have what to go to Yom Kippur with. Right? But the Sam Sefer was afraid that they didn't have enough zechus for Yom Kippur. Right? So now that he made the shidduch, right, now he has the zechus for Yom Kippur. Meanwhile, because of all the negotiations, it became very late. When he came into the Beis Medrash, the Gabbai came over and he showed him on that's after Shkia. That's him called nidre. So some sefer said, Bashamayim zogt ben kol nidre v'nich zol kol nidre. Just a few minutes ago, he said he didn't have any zechusim to go to Yom Kippur. Right? And a few minutes later, he knows, right, that B'Shemaim they're not going to say Kol Nidre until he does. I mean, we talk about the caliber of tzaddikim whose life was a true partnership with Hashem, and they cared for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They had a Havas Hashem. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu cared for them. You know, there's a very interesting story that I heard. It's reliable. I don't know with whom it was that the Chavetz Chaim called a person over he was talking to, and he said, I want you to look into my mouth. And it felt very awkward. I want you to look into my mouth. Chavetz Chaim opened his mouth. The person looked into his mouth. He says, count my teeth. He counted his teeth. There were 32 teeth. That's exactly the amount of teeth a person should have. He never lost a tooth. So he said, I took care of my mouth, Rabbi Shalom took care of my teeth. See, when you got a partnership, one partner cares for the other. Right? And we take care of each other. Why doesn't it always work? Because the story with Avdalov of the merchant was he was in constant relationship with his partner. I mean, how many times a day did he sell things in the store? 20 times a day, 30 times a day. Every time he did, right? He exercised his partnership. Every time he put some money into the cash box and some money into the bushka, he implemented his partnership. And it was not only a theoretical thing, it was a mitzvah. It was a partnership, and he was the true shutef. And the true shutef, he's got a day. Just imagine what we could do if we had a partnership. But this means to be constantly in contact with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. This means that when the Kadosh Baruch Hu said to us, Nasa Odom, that we have a constant job to be an Odom. Right? And if we lose the kind of midas that make us an Odom, we break the partnership. Now, because the Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted that there should be a Bechira, the Ramchal says because Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted a Bechira, Zel Umah Zel Oz Alakim, Kadosh Baruch Hu created a Sitra Achra, right? So that a person can have a Bechira. Right? If Chas v'Shalom a person does an Aveira, right? He's Moisiv Koyach to the Sitra Achra. And the Sitra Achra is opposes the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So can you imagine, what would happen if there were a partner, right? A and B are partners. And then there's another person, C, who has a similar business, right? And it's a competition with A. And B goes and supports the other person. That undermines, that ruins the partnership. You're giving out to the enemy. So Chas v'Shalom, if a person talks a word of Lashon Hara, he's undermining the partnership. You can't, his commitment as a partner is not going to be valid. The story was that, I mean, how we have to constantly keep contact with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and not be Messiah Das. That the Rav Simcha Bunim came into the Yehuda Kodesh and he found he was crying. So he asked, why is the Rebbe crying? So he says, I realized that for a moment I forgot HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Rabbeinu says, the halacha is that in Shikha, if a person forgets a Zayus and a Tufa B'Shaita, a special, something special that he is certain to remember a few minutes later, that's not the halacha of Shikha. Right? If you're certain that you're going to recall or remember it later, then it becomes, it's not Shikha. So he said, the Rebbe said that he forgot HaKadosh Baruch Hu for a moment, but he suddenly remembered again. That's not Shikha. You're not Avraham Yehoshua. So he said, Achiyasoni. You saved my life. So these are the kinds of things that we can do. A whole list of them. A whole list of them. In fact, I've got an idea to write another book about it. Right? How to become a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? And to realize the enormous strength that will give us. That will give us for ourselves, for our mishpocha, for our children, for our grandchildren, for Klal Yisrael, where we will have the brachas to make commitments, and our partner has to live up to them. Because Mishpocha works with mishpat, right? And the mishpat will be, the tzedakah mishpat will be that he will be memala kol mishalas lebeinu l'toiva, and especially this time of the year when we're zeicha that the tshuva me'ahava, right, and the simcha of Siman Simcha Seder, right, will give us the shleimus that our tefillos will be niskabo, right, and all of our bakoshes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu will not only be bakoshes, there will be orders and commitments, right, but the HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Atzadik Koisa, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mekayim, does not necessarily mean that tzaddik who is a tzaddik yesod olam, right, but a person who has made himself a partner. So we have to work on our partnership, and in the schus of that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be malei olam mishalas l'tova, and send us the Gula Shleima Mashiach b'meira b'meinu. Amen.
Announce to everyone.
Every
Fantastic insights into how to partnership with the ultimate partner, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this isn't just a 50-50 partnership. This is a 99-1 partnership, where Hashem gives us 99% of everything, 99.9%, and by giving that 0.1%, HaKadosh Baruch Hu blesses us exponentially and infinitely. The door v'dor nagid gadlecha. Alfei Dorot. For thousands of generations, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bless those that follow His Torah, His Book of Life. He gives us the Book of Life for free. How much would we pay a doctor to have 32 complete teeth? And we see here, the person just follows the laws of Shmiras HaLoshen, and even his Shanaim are taken care of. 100 years ago in America, the majority of people perished before the age of 40 from the most shocking disease in the world, dental decay. Most of Americans perish before the age of 40 because of dental decay. So without any further ado, we are awed by these incredible insights and tools for developing the ultimate partnership. We have to get to work on this immediately. And also we have a very great privilege that a very wonderful chazan, Avraham Mendelssohn, is going to grace us shortly. Singer, famous Hasidic singer, Avraham Mendelssohn, if you could inspire us with some beautiful music and Zmirot, like was thousands of years ago in temple times.
Right now, yeah?
If you could.
Now? Test one.
אנחנו רוצים לקבל את הזמר מוטי מורי.
Yayol taro alafi dikei moyim kei nafshi sano ailecho Elokim. מועדים לשמחה, חגים זמנים לששון. It's a big, great privilege to be here tonight in the holy, heilige Yeshivat Dvar Yerushalayim. Over 45 years of Torah and Chesed, Torah v'Gdula b'mokem echad, together with the Rosh Yeshiva. The next song I want to dedicate Simcha le'artzecho v'sosoin le'irecho. Oy 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 simcha le'artzecho v'sosoin le'irecho. Oy 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 simcha le'artzecho v'sosoin le'irecho. כולם יחד. עוד צמיחה סכנת אוי לדוד עבדך ובריחסנה אבן ישי משיחך אוי די לי 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 Shai me shichecho dai lai 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 dai lai 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 la 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 ro ot semichas gehere oy le tovi navdecho kavari chasne leben nishai me shichecho. Oy 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 simcha le'artzecho v'sosoin le'irecho. Oy oy oy
A few more music, but now Yeshiva wants to say a few words.
We are in this Sukkah in the last few years in the house of the late Kantor Zelig, Mr. Zelig, who have been working to gain support for our yeshiva for many, many years, already in America, and when they moved here, they gave of their own savings in memory of their respective parents, Kantor Zelig, Zecher Tzadik Baruch and Chaim L'Chaim, his wife. This sukkah, they gave from their own savings, quite apart from the enormous support we've had from them as partners with the yeshiva. The yeshiva tries also to be partners with Hashem, and they have been real partners in developing this yeshiva. And to some extent, we can say that the Talmidim of the yeshiva have been like their children. So, I just want to say a few words in memory of Kantor Zelig, who had great Mesirut Nefesh, even when he first came to America as running away from the Nazis, great Mesirut Nefesh for Shmirat Shabbos, having to change his job every week, and ultimately becoming a chazan in America, and setting up a home with his wife, Chaim L'Chaim. And in addition to that, he was involved in many aspects of chesed activity, including also being a volunteer in different ways for the Shaarei Tzedek Hospital to help them. And our yeshiva, he helped constantly throughout his life. And when unfortunately in the last years he could no longer do it himself, so his wife has continued the last few years to help our yeshiva. And we very much appreciate this. We appreciate also the memory of his specific midos, which you heard just now. He had a midah to try to introduce a smile and humor into every aspect of activity, giving out Keep Smiling leaflets, and constantly his talks including nice batlach. For example, one word which we can all remember, and this time we're sitting in Tzilat Himrusa. We're sitting in the shadow of faith in Hashem. That's how it's called in the Zohar. He used to say, we have an immune system in the Torah called Emunah. That's our immunity. Immunity against all sicknesses. Unfortunately, in later years he became sick, but even when he became sick, he was constantly trying to put on a smile and introduce his sense of humor. So we'll never forget, in our yeshiva, his enormous contribution. And we also express great appreciation to the Hafid Ben Chaim, to his wife, for the last few years has continued this work of chesed. And we thank also all those friends of the Zeligs who continue to support us, and surely through this partnership with the yeshiva also Mrs. Zelig for gain consolation with her constant chesed activities on our behalf. Now, to honor her, there will be a presentation from those from our family and who have been close with her, close to late Cantor Zelig, and all the teachers, the staff, and the students of the yeshiva. So now I'm going to call also upon my son Yaakov, who the last few years, as I was not able, we were not able to pay visits. Frequently so busy and also getting on in years. So Yaakov and his wife have kept up most regular connections, and he's going to say a few words in memory of Cantor Zelig and also tribute to Mrs. Zelig.
My father, the Rosh Yeshiva, Rosh Vat, Rabbonim, teachers in the yeshiva, and last but not least, the chairman of our board, Dr. Mori. I was privileged to give a tribute to Cantor Sidney Socher Zelig, Zecher Tzadik Livrocha, and Lahavdil Chaim, Lahavdil Ben Chaim Lechaim, his beloved wife, Inga. It's not the first time this year that I've been asked to say words of tribute to people who were close to me. The first one was my sister Hannah, who also passed away in a time when it was forbidden to give eulogies. It was during the month of Nisan. Now also, it's not a hesped, not allowed to be mashpid also, especially not on Sukkot, but a few words of tribute, of gratitude to all the good work that they've been doing to the, giving the yeshiva during the last 40 years. They began to work as a couple, and we mentioned, the speaker before me mentioned the partnership with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So here is a triple partnership with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a couple who had a partnership with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they also have a partnership with the yeshiva, with Torah. Now, I would like to quote the two, who quotes his brother of Judah in Hilchos Rosh Chodesh. So he says, and he writes it in Orach Chaim Tov Yud Zayin. He speaks about the 12 months of the year, and each month begins with Rosh Chodesh. speaks about why women don't work. They have a bittul melocha on Rosh Chodesh, but he also refers to the 3 festivals. So it says, and I'm quoting, the Pesach, the festival of Passover, corresponds to Avraham Avinu, because when Avraham Avinu was Machnis Oirech, and we spoke before about the union of Midas Torah, and I would like to say, since we're speaking about Bereshit, the Torah was not given from Achodesh Hazeh Lochem. Even though I'm speaking about Hilchos Rosh Chodesh, it was given from Bereshit Boro Elokim Es Hashemayim. And we have a whole Chumash that gives us a message, an example of Midas Torah. And the 3 main people who are mentioned in that Chumash, who we have to emulate, were Avraham. And so the festival of Pesach, which represents Avraham Avinu, because it says when he brought the guests, the three Malachim that came to visit him, he says there, Lushi Vasiyugos. That's what he tells Sorei Meinu, Lushi, knead and bake cakes. And that is a remez, a hint to Pesach. Shavuos is against Yitzchak Avinu, Isaac. Why? Because the Tkiyah Shofar that we mentioned on Rosh Hashanah, the blowing of the Shofar, Matan Torah, was from the Shofar of the Ram of Isaac. And Sukkot is against Yaakov. I'm called Yaakov too, as my father said. Sukkot is against Yaakov. Corresponds to Yaakov. Why? Because it says, Ulemikneu also Sukkot in Parshas Vayishlach. It says that he made for his flocks of sheep, he made Sukkot huts. And then the 12 Rosh Chodashim are against, this is besides the point, the 12 tribes. And when that's what the Chotu Beiga, when they sinned at the time of the golden calf, this was taken from and given to the women as a sign that they didn't take part in that sin. Alright, now I'm going back to the Miknei to Sukkot. What is irrelevant to Kantezelik? So now I'm going to quote Yonasan ben Uziel from Parshas Vayishlach. So it says that when Yaakov Avinu left Esau and decided to separate from his brother Esau, the first thing he did when he entered Eretz Yisrael, it says, "V'Yaakov nosa sukoisoi boreloi bais," and he built for himself a home. Ulemikneu also sukkos, and that's why he called the names. Says the Targum Yonasan, "Yaakov notal lesukos." Yaakov took sukkos. Vis Akev Tamon Treisei Archeshata. He took, when he came into Eretz Yisrael, the first thing he did was he held him. He stayed in a place for 12 months. But what did he do? He built a base medrash. Ulemikneu osa sukkos. In other words, what did he do? He built ulegeitei ovad matlon. That's why he called it sukkos. So we see from here that Sukkot corresponds against Yaakov. Why? Because Yaakov, according to the Poshet Pshat, according to Rashi, he built a sukkah hut for his flock, but for his physical possessions, but according to the Targum said no. The first thing he did was he worried about building a yeshiva. That's exactly what Kantor Zelig and Inga Zelig did. First they prepared, they found the yeshiva, our yeshiva, and they decided that they have to start with the help of Rav Benzion Lopi and Zeicher Tzadik Livrocha. They decided they have to found a partnership already in America 40 years ago, in 1986, 35 years ago, and they have to start with their, what did they do with their possessions? They decided to use it to help a yeshiva, like Avraham, like Yaakov Avinu did. They emulate Yaakov Avinu, and that is what and also it's not for nothing that this sukkah, this biggest one of the biggest sukkahs in Yerushalayim, was also donated by Kantor Zelig, because the idea of Lemiknei Oso Sukkahs is exactly referring to what Kantor Zelig did as a preparation to come on Aliyah, and then continued, once he came here, continued with his beloved wife Inga to continue the work which we saw his work. We could never understand how he always used to manage with such faith and such inspiration to make all kinds of people give money for the yeshiva. I mean, the way from all walks of life, all kinds of people, and they used to give, and they still do, in his schus. And I would like to say, he was a very special person. He was a chazan, a kantor, and he loved doing mitzvahs, he loved helping, and his wife is continuing in that direction. And I always used to go to visit him with my wife, Yechivat, and he always used to welcome us, always with a smile when he was well. And we'll never forget that. And we're not allowed to forget it. And I would like to give these words of gratitude, this tribute to him in his memory. It should stay forever and ever. Until Mashiach will come, B'meiru v'yamein Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Yaakov, for such inspirational words. Truth is that Chazan Zelig's neshama, I'm sure, is singing in Shemayim tonight and delighting at the amazing accomplishments that he had in his lifetime and his partnership here with Dvar Yerushalayim. Very exciting news that amongst the partnerships that Dr. Twersky inspires and is inspired by, he wants to be a partner with us. And I invite every one of you to be a partner with Rav Zelig. The sukkah was a donation that he gave many years ago, and if you can imagine the zchut of every bracha that is said in the sukkah, and every mitzvah, and every Devar Torah, and every word of Birkat Mazon, and every mitzvah that is done in the sukkah is an aliyah neshama for Rav Zelig. So we want a partnership tonight. Really, this is, I think, a great new chapter in world history, where we always thought of Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as Avinu Shebashamayim, Avinu Malkeinu. If we are your servants and you are our masters, and all the other tefillahs we've just gone through, Rosh Hashanah and Kippus, and now we're going into the tefillahs of Sukkot. A whole new chapter is being written right now, and that's partnerships. And we see the overwhelming return on investment. We just look around us and we see the blessings that this generation is experiencing, and we're in awe, absolute awe. There's never been a generation that could change world history as dramatically and as quickly as this generation. We look at our plates, how the blessings are overflowing from the four corners of the plates and the shulchan to the four corners of the world. One of the things we would like to invite you to, and those of you that have pledged to donate towards Rav Zelig's memory, we plan to have a room of Limud Torah in his memory. And anybody that wants to be a partner with us and with him, this has infinite potential and reward. And of course we would have a Zichron Nerot in his memory, and what we would really like to do is invite those over here tonight to create a revolution in Kirov. Part of our dream is to inspire the generation. We asked Rabbi Twersky as he first sat down a most painful dental question. We asked him, how is the situation with our brothers and sisters in America? And he said it's very painful. About 80% have lost their way, but it's not too late. And with a facility like this, we can do spiritual Techiyat Meitim, revival of the dead. What would HaKadosh Baruch Hu say if one of his sons was on the verge of perishing and Hatzolah physically came in and did CPR and did defibrillation and did oxygen for this patient? And I heard a story recently that there was a patient in Beit Vegan that had suffered a devastating heart attack, and the initial first responders had given up hope after an hour, and last responder came in and he said he wants to try as well. And they had been resuscitating and trying to start his heart with CPR and defibrillators, and this guy did it once and he did it twice, and the third time the heart started to work. What is it worth to the family? What is it worth to the community? To resuscitate Techiyat Meitim, somebody that was gone. What is it worth to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to see one son fighting for the life of another son? Imagine how world history would have been changed if when Yaakov heard from his brothers, from his sons, that they not only rescued their brother from the pit, but they actually planned to save him and to bring the whole family complete. Maybe we wouldn't have had to go down to Egypt. Maybe we wouldn't have had to spend 4,000 years in Galut. And maybe it would have been Gan Eden Kekedem. I invite each and every one of you that is serious about the Geula, that is serious about Techiyat Meitim with your forefathers and mothers, to rise up tonight and to pledge something in the memory of Cantor Zelig, and infinitely more in the memory of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's children that have left this world, that we want them back. We want Am Yisrael, Tshuva Gomor. We want to see the Geula Shlema, Mashiach Tzidkenu, Beis HaMikdash. It's within our grasp, it's within our hands. Let's pledge. Let's go for it. Let this coldest and darkest of galuts be over and done with. We can make that difference. Thank you.
ישבו זקנים וזקנות ברחוב ירושלים רבותיי, אנחנו מקבלים בברכה את החזן העולמי ברל צוקר. איפה מחיאות כפיים?
מוריי ורבותיי, החזן צוקר לא כל כך ידוע לכולם. אני מציע לכם, נעשה איזה תרגיל קטן. מי שפעם שמע את יוסלו רוזנבלט, לסגור את העיניים ולדמיין שיוסלו רוזנבלט נמצא פה חי. You can all soon enjoy a piece of Chazan Zucker. Yeah, we'll have a drink first. I suggest do a little trick. Close your eyes. You can imagine Yosel Rosenblatt Zal actually live, and a few other Chazonim that you can take off very nicely. So we appreciate you coming here, and we wish you a Moadim L'Simcha. Thank you very much.
לא, יש משהו שיר חדש, השתבח, יוסל ביקש, אבל תשמע, דברים שלא שמעת, השתבח. קבלו את יוסל רוזנבלט.
Good Moed, everyone. On behalf of the Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Horowitz, Shlita, and Dr. Mori Bank dedicate the song Ishtabach Shimcha Lo'ad Malkeinu. עוד חצי למעלה. ישתבח שמך אלוהות מלכנו ישתבח שמך
Shavchas. כל אחד ירקוד במקום.
Let's go. הציבור מוזמן בעוד כ5 דקות לרחבת הריקודים בתוך הבית מדרש.